Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Jay Haft here. This is episode 25. Beaver Dam in the state of Wisconsin, a corrupt criminal enterprise. And this is a true American horror story. I want to say these are all my opinions, like all the episodes. First of all, I want to say thank you, all from my heart. Update on the episode views. On YouTube, 221. TikTok, 3,886. On Reels, 4,304. And on Facebook, 6,358 views, totaling 14,769 and counting. This horror story and conspiracy is on the verge of going viral. I please ask you to share. If you like an episode, please go back and click the share button. It'd be greatly appreciated. I want to go through some other stuff that I kind of miss and stuff like that. This is kind of interesting. This is an email, from the DNR and stuff. And this is from Jim Congdon to Rob Davis, Beaver Dam Buildings. And then the other people that got this were Ken Johnson, Dan Hunt, Heather Gottschalk, Susan Joseph, the Dam Lady, and then Gary Hendricks. And the subject is Beaver Dam Buildings. City of Beaver Dam met with the building owners who own properties on the Beaver Dam River. They presented them an offer to buy the structures and remove them. They also included removal of the tower parking lot culverts and some money to help buildings in the flood fringe and flood-proof and put on a new facade to improve their look. Sounds like everyone is on board with the exception of me, Jay Haft, who thinks he may try to register his bar as an historical structure. The owners of the 10 structures are going to meet with him next Monday to convince him to take the deal. So 10 of the 11 structures are on board next to get it to pass the Common Council, but at least they are making some positive progress. Okay, there's that again. I'll show you that. Yeah, what they did was they did come and meet with me, and they're, the 10 owners, some of them had spouses, kids, whatever, and they tried to convince me to sell my building for my assessed value, waive my relocation, and I knew the law. I studied it. I knew I was entitled to an appraisal, which what's kind of ironic is they eventually went back here and had to come back and appraise their buildings and pay them relocation 6 years later when it was almost impossible for them to move and stuff like that. And that's all in the episode my finale episode. This is one of the reasons why I lost so much business, because you got, the 10 buildings, their husbands, wives, their friends, family, everybody, oh, Jay Haft, he's this terrible person, because he won't subside to their blackmail for their property, and I had to stand up to these people, and I did that, and it was one of the things where I was constantly having people come in and tell me, the DNR is going to order your building down. I try to come to work and have a good attitude, and then all of a sudden I have, because of the manipulation of the media and stuff with the city. So I just wanted to share that with you. And then I talked to the mayor when this first started. I asked him, if about the relocation and stuff like that before I had made the decision on my building. And he goes, oh, there's no thriving businesses downtown, So they had a city council meeting. I was there, and I asked the mayor, I said, they knew that they needed to do the relocation, because they had showed you in there how the DNR took care of it. And the mayor, I went and talked to him down at his office, try to reason with him, but he didn't really care about the people in the community. And he says, be careful what you say, or I'll push you aside like I did to Furchow. And I thought, push me aside like I did to Furchow. Okay. So this is another one that I wanted to bring up. This is, I went to the Beaver Dam Area Development Corporation when this first started out, because I had met Trent Campbell, and, I didn't think too much of the guy. You know what I mean? He lives in Milwaukee, and he works there part-time and makes some really good money there, kind of running their Beaver Dam Area Development Corporation. And the one guy, he wasn't there, but the guy was there that rented the building, and he was one of the members, and I told him I'd like to make an open records request. And before I had done this, I had called the Department of Justice and asked them if they had to give me the open records. And the Department of Justice says, yes, they have to. So I went in there to this guy, and he thought he was above the law and that they could do whatever they want. He says to me, he says, oh, we don't have to do that. I said, oh, yeah? I said, yes, you do. So I called the Department of Justice back, and I handed him the phone. I says, well, this is the lady from the Department of Justice. I would have loved to have this on video, because the guy was just like shaking in his bones. He goes, oh, yeah, we'll do it now, But it's just amazing how these cities work. And the thing you have to understand is the way this worked is when I talked to the Department of Justice and I asked them about all the corruption in the city. And he said, it's hard for us to cover all this stuff, because there's just so much, going on. He said that we like to leave it up to the local areas for the elections to replace these people through elections. So the city of Beaver Dam made a great move, and when they did is that when they hired a local police chief. And a lot of these communities, what they do is they hire somebody from out of town, and he's like the mayor's guy, It's kind of like the original My Guy thing, And it's kind of interesting because the city did hire a local police chief, and I commend them for that. You know what I mean? Because they don't have to answer to my guy, my guy type of thing, And I think if we would have had this police chief in there at the time when this went on, it would have been a lot different. Because, I explained how they threatened me for 6 years, over the time, never moved the threats. If you owned a home in town and they came over and they started threatening you, okay, that if you didn't sell your building for, your 65% at first, and then your assessed value, that the DNR is going to order your building down. You would say, this is blackmail. You call the sheriff up and say, hey, this is blackmail. I mean, and to sit and do it publicly and stuff like this, they all knew what was going on. It's amazing. And the problem is with the media in Beaver Dam. To say that they're just friends with the city, where the mayor would put out all his press releases and just publish everything that they came out with, and no questions asked. Because I brought all that information on the dam to the radio station, and the guy there, I won't mention his name, but he says to me, he says, oh, we have to have an attorney look at all this stuff, and these are legal documents, but I do feel, in my opinion, that the media was totally biased to the city, and it's one of the things that the city corrected this, but how do you replace somebody when the people in the community don't really know the truth? So it's kind of interesting. Then they sicked the IRS on me. I don't know who did this, but see, I told you before, I worked for 2 years straight, basically for nothing, and I had a guy come in, him and his wife, and they sat down, they had a drink and stuff like that, and he was a smoker, and he was telling me he worked for the IRS, and I didn't think nothing of it, but he went outside, he was talking and smoking with some of my customers, and, they're some of my friends and stuff like that, most of them. And the guy comes in and goes, yeah, that guy asked me out there, it was kind of weird. He asked me if you were the only bartender you had here. And I thought, why would he do that? But then I thought about it. See, I didn't have workman's compensation because I really couldn't afford any employees. So I worked for 2 years straight every day. And then for 4.5, 5 months, I worked on my building during the day and then worked at night. So it's kind of interesting. Let's see. That's pretty much it for today, folks. I just wanted to share this with you. And please share if you can. And thank you. Appreciate it.